Welcome to Classical 95.9 WCRI's Conducting Conversations with your host, Mike Mano. 1 hour of music and conversation with notable people in the arts, bringing you the stories of how music has impacted their lives. The show will give a behind-the-scenes look at the guest's background, interests, or special project.
Conducting Conversations is brought to you by Roberts Musical Instruments. From sheet music and brand name instruments to rentals, repairs, lessons, and more. Roberts Musical Instruments is your key to musical success. Call 823-5459. That's 823-5459.
And now here's your host, Mike Mano.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conducting Conversations. Tonight, it's a pleasure to welcome back to our studios the world-famous and talented Dr. Joshua Rohde is here, and he is the director of the Rhode Island Civic Choral and Orchestra. Welcome back, Joshua. Nice to see you.
Great to see you, Mike, as always. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to have you in the studio and find out what's been going on in the world of the Rhode Island Civic Choral and Orchestra, one of the more long-term groups, artistic groups in Rhode Island, and it's exactly what people might think by the name. It is a civic chorale, and you play with a professional orchestra.
Indeed, we do. We have the Civic Chorale is about 90 members, gaining more members every day, and with a professional orchestra and a number of soloists for all of our concerts.
So there you go. And we're going to talk about concerts that are going to be held in a couple weeks, November 18th and 19th. Now, the two different locations, right?
Correct. Saturday, November 18th at 7 p.m., we're at the Church of St. Sebastian in Providence, where we usually are. And then Sunday afternoon on November 19th at 3 o'clock, we're up in Manville at St. James Church, another gorgeous venue.
Now, a new addition this year, at least I think it's relatively new, is the fact that you, as I know, are a professor at Worcester Polytech, correct?
Correct, indeed.
And in charge of some groups there musically, and they're going to also perform in those concerts.
Indeed. Well, they're actually performing with us in the spring. So we're going to do a large collaboration with the choirs up there. So it'll be a few hundred singers, a couple hundred in the orchestra. And we're going to do Mendelssohn's Elijah in April, which is going to anchor the year.
So I was confused. Not this one, not this upcoming concert.
Yeah, so no, it's confusing a little bit because there's a lot of Mendelssohn happening. Okay. We're calling this season A Year with Mendelssohn.
A whole year?
A whole year.
Wow, I didn't think he was that nice a guy.
Oh, he's a fantastic guy.
Okay.
An even better musician.
Well, that part is obvious, but sometimes you don't know about the personality behind the scenes.
Indeed.
There's always the opportunity for people that aren't quite as nice.
Very true.
Right. But Mendelssohn, I guess, is a nice guy and nice music.
He's a really nice guy, and his music is fantastic. And many people know Mendelssohn by name because he's one of the famous, Bach, Beethoven, Brahms, one of these established composers.
Correct.
But few people actually can name a handful of pieces that he composed or have sung or played them, which is why we're spending the whole year playing his music. So we'll end with his big oratorio, Elijah, in April. But our first concert that we're talking about here in November features 4 pieces of music that you might not know.
All right. And part of the reason might be that they're not called Yankee Doodle Dandy or something like that, right? The names are, of course, in the native tongue for the most part.
Exactly.
Or numbers.
Yeah, exactly. So most of Mendelssohn was a German composer, so most of his pieces initially were in German. But another thing that people don't know about Mendelssohn that we're enjoying ourselves is that he spent a lot of time in the UK. And every time he went to England, he made sure that his music was translated to English so people could understand.
I did not know that.
So this first piece we're going to talk about is Die erste Walpurgisnacht in German, which is a little bit of a mouthful for most of us.
Right.
But
That's why I didn't touch it.
Exactly. But if you come here our concerts in November, everything that we're going to sing will be in English. So it'll be the first Walpurgisnacht.
Subtitles not necessary.
Not necessary, exactly.
All right. So this is going to be, the concert will be the same on both days,
correct?
All right, so you can, if you really like that first one, you can go to the second one.
Absolutely.
Or if you can't make the first one, you got to make the second one.
Indeed.
All right? The website where information is available for both of these concerts and all things to do with RICO, as we call it, is very simple.
RICCO.org.
There you go. RICCO.org. You can check that out. On there is information about the concerts, and maybe we'll listen to a piece of music and get ourselves in the mood, and then when we come back, we'll find out more about who's on the concerts. We have soloists and things like that to talk about.
Sounds great.
All right, this first piece, any further description we need?
Well, hopefully it'll get you in sort of the fall mood. As you can hear, there's a lot of sort of witches and bonfires and broomsticks and a lot of scary things, but it ends fun, so enjoy.
Here we go. We'll listen to that. It's a little bit lengthy, so we'll listen to that as much as possible, and then we'll come back with more.
Kommt, kommt, kommt mit Sacken und mit Gabeln und mit Blut und Klapperstöcken, werden wir ein mächtiger Wald durch die engen Felsen strecken. Kommt, 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 kommt mit Sacken und mit Gabeln und mit Blut und Klapperstöcken, werden wir ein mächtiger Wald durch die engen Felsen strecken. Kommt, 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 Zacken und mit Gabeln und mit Gabeln, Klapperstöcken, Klapperstöcken, müssen Feinde aus engen Felsen strecken. Hilf auch Hilf, ihr Kriegsgeselle. Ach, es kommt die ganze Hölle. Sieh, wie die verhexten Leiber durch und durch von Flamme glühen. Menschen, Wölfe, Drachen, Weiber, die im Flug vorüberziehen. Welch entsetzliches Getöse! Lasst uns alle fliehen, in Flammen zu Saus der Böse. Aus dem Boden kam Verdriegs, ein Höllenbruder. Welch entsetzliches Getöse! Lass uns fliehen! Lass uns fliehen! Lass uns fliehen! Lass uns fliehen! Aus dem Boden dampfet rings ein Höllenbroden. Aus dem Boden dampfet rings ein Höllenbroden. Lass uns fliehen! 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 Lass uns fliehen!
The Rhode Island Civic Choral and Orchestra is the subject of tonight's conducting conversation. I'm Mike Mano, very pleased to be sitting with Joshua as usual, the expert in all of this. Are you just the musical director? Is that your title, or do you prefer...
Music director is great. That's my title.
Music director, not musical.
Music, yeah.
Yes, yeah, just about the music, and you're not particularly musical.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Okay, as the director, you're responsible for coming up with this idea of a year with Mendelssohn, right?
Indeed, I was.
Was there a reason behind the scene, or is it just like, I think we should do this?
No, I think a lot of it was, as we were sort of talking about, is, with lots of our famous composers, people know sort of the highlights.
Yeah.
But they don't really necessarily know what makes the composer, what filled out the rest of his tenure, what, defined him as a person. So that's why we thought, why not spend a little extra time with this one individual and see if we can dig into who he was as a person and get to learn some of his other music. Because when he was alive, he was one of the most famous people on the planet. His music was performed all over, even here in Boston and New York. And so it's
So you
exciting.
mentioned that he traveled from Germany to England,
Yep.
And-
Nearly a dozen times, we think.
right? And no further than that. I mean, as far as he stayed within the European, if you will.
He did, but his music crossed the great pond between us and came over to Boston at least a couple times.
There you go. All right. And when you talk about his music, is what separates him from a Mozart or a Brahms or something like that? Is it something that's distinctive?
I think what separates him is his great use of colors. I mean, when you listen to Mendel's music, like that first piece, it starts scary, spooky. It's almost as if you were listening to the soundtrack of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But just as easily as he can do that, in this next piece we'll hear, he can write some of the most gorgeous melodies, and it's lush and it's full and, it just makes you smile and feel warm and fuzzy.
Right.
So I think he can do it all, and he's really good at capturing our emotions.
Now, when we talk about someone world famous, as you said he was, does that translate as in today, if you take a world famous rock star, let's say, and try to put that into that era?
Yeah.
Did that kind of translate as far as lifestyle and so forth from Mendelssohn? Was he rich?
I think he did very well for himself, and yeah, I would say, they didn't have social media or that kind of
Right,
stuff, but
right.
yeah, he was very famous and was well known. I think a household name, and
Right.
that's why he was
So a true star of the time.
a true star of his time for sure.
Okay. Now, speaking of true stars, there are going to be several that are going to be accompanying you, if you will, or with
Indeed.
you in this program.
Yes, so this first concert for the year, we're excited that we're going to feature our 2023 Collegiate Vocal Competition winners. As you know, we're in our 15th year of running this competition, which is pretty unique to the Civic Choral, where we audition students all the way from throughout New England, from Connecticut all the way up to Maine, to be soloists for our concerts. And we have awarded 4 prizes, and these young singers, who are absolutely fantastic, studying graduate degrees across the New England area, are going to be our soloists for these performances.
Those scholarships don't necessarily have to be to one specific school or even one specific state, right?
Nope, correct. We've got one from the University of Connecticut, a couple out of Boston at the University of Boston and Laundry, and then another one in southern Maine.
There you go. All right. All right. So along with that, there is a professional orchestra.
Correct, yes.
So it's a chorus of about how many people? I know we said it was growing, but I don't think we had a number there.
I think we're over 90 members. As we were
Wow.
talking earlier, we had another 12 or 13 new singers show up, and I feel like every day there's somebody else who's coming to join us, so which makes
Excellent.
it really exciting.
Excellent. All right. So remember, check that out at ricco.org is all the information there. And let's get to this next piece of music. Tell us about this one.
So Mendelssohn thought that this was probably one of his best compositions. It's Psalm 42, which features a soprano solo and choir and full orchestra. I think one of the things that sets it apart is that it's really, really lovely. It's refined, but the text is about longing, about hope. Hope you enjoy.
Here we go. Rhode Island Civic Chorale and Orchestra is the theme of tonight's Conducting Conversations. And Joshua, there's other things that happen besides these two concerts coming up. You have more events, right?
Correct. We always have more events, but one that's coming quickly is our Messiah Open Sing on Sunday, December 3rd. This is a community event where we're inviting anybody who wants to come join us for this holiday tradition.
I could show up and sing.
Indeed, you could. We'd love to have you, Mike.
Okay.
Bring your score, and if you don't have one, we'll let you borrow one.
Oh, I just make it up as I go along.
Well, you know what? That's allowed too.
I'm sure a lot of people have.
Exactly. And if all you sing is hallelujah when we get there, it's great.
But you have to stand up.
Well, sure. Why not?
Yeah, okay. All right. So it's that's December 3rd and going to be where?
That's at the Church of St. Sebastian in Providence, again, at 3 o'clock. And it's a rather casual, open event. Pay as you can sort of thing. We're just hoping.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. And so it's the same church where the first concert's going to be on November 18th.
Correct.
Coming up.
Yes.
And then also on the 19th, November 19th, you're going to be whereabouts?
We're up in Manville at St. James's Church.
Okay. And so Northern Rhode Island and Providence area. And then if you'd like to get more information, remember, go to that website, ricco.org, and you can find further information. You'll always have the opportunity to purchase tickets for these events. And you also can find out a little bit more about the organization, and the fact that they're supported by RISCA is one of the things.
Absolutely. We're so thankful for the Rhode Island State Council for the Arts and for all that they do for us and for all the other musical and arts organizations in the state.
And you can donate yourself if you care to right there on the website and help this group, along with all the arts groups in Rhode Island and southern New England that we've talked about frequently. They all need a village.
Indeed.
As we say.
Indeed.
To help keep things going. All right, we have one more piece of music, and tell us what this one's going to be.
The last piece of music we're going to listen to is Mendelssohn's Octet. This is a piece that people might know. It's the first thing that sort of put Mendelssohn on the map. He wrote it when he was 16 years old, and it sort of launched him into stardom as a prodigy.
16.
16.
Yeah, I remember what I was doing when I was 16. Was not writing classical music.
You weren't, and you weren't being, called out by Goethe, Germany's most famous writer, as the next best thing.
No.
Oh,
no.
I'm sorry.
It didn't happen.
Me neither.
Which I'm sure for most people is the same case. Well, Joshua, thanks so much once again for coming in. And one thing we didn't touch upon, if people are interested in being part of the Rhode Island Civic Chorale and Orchestra, is there an opportunity for that?
Absolutely. You can always find out more information on our website, ricco.org. But a couple ways to participate is show up for this Messiah Sing, come to a concert, see if you like what you hear. And then when we start the new music in January, the doors will be open, and just come on down for a Wednesday night and give it a try.
Excellent. Thanks again, Joshua. We appreciate it. And the rest of you will see you next time on Conducting Conversations. Conducting Conversations was brought to you by Roberts Musical Instruments, using music in the arts to keep your child educated, entertained, and having fun. Roberts Musical Instruments is your key to musical success. Call 823-5459. That's 823-5459.